we are whenever we want to. So what else do we do with our remaining 4
stopped.
levels? Well,
I
the
think
exploration
we'll be
category
fine.
can be unlocked, but
Hopefully,
we don't have a
I'll
great
have
deal
my
of stuff.
electricity
More experience
still,
after each
and I'll
mine
be able
sounds
to
like a good
finish
thing
my
to have, though, so
assignments
I'm going
on
to
time.
jump on that as quickly as I can, because that can just be upgraded into separate tiers, meaning that you get more and more and more experience. I don't know if it's a multiplier, or if it's just a base amount for completing a world, but chances are we will end up with a lot of that. These are all slightly too expensive for the 1 remaining level we have. I imagine the rest of us will. And pets seem to be animals that might follow you around. The School of Hard Knocks I don't really know a whole lot about, but it says something about taking your time when mining, enhancing fire, so I think this is more like
Oh wow, since the effect was negated, I can
Imagine
still...
the
I
unlocks that you
win.
could get in a Supergiant game like Bastion or Transistor, where you can make the game harder for yourself in exchange for increased reward. I don't even know if increased reward is part of the
Pure
deal here,
Malice
so we
is
don't leave
actually
those
way
alone
too
for
weak now.
But I think it is time to craft our next mine. Before we do that, though, we'll take a quick look around, because there are these ghostly doors over here, which if you right-click on them, it says, "Doors yearn for the keys." Like the children yearn for the mines, I suppose. I genuinely don't know what that means yet. I do not know what a key looks like. If I have not found one yet, then chances are we'll probably encounter one in the course of this series. I think let's squeeze one more mine in now. I think I'm still going to put the base ingredient of stone in here, because, let's be real, making stone equipment is going to be kind of helpful to us. This one is already a surface world, so we shouldn't need to worry too much about that. There are going to be frogs and cows again. There are going to be creepers as a mob as well. But I think in addition to the jungle biomes it's already generating, I want to add forest biomes into the mix as well, mainly because of something I discovered during the live stream of this. I think Mine 2 is all ready to go. Let's hop on in here and let's see how quickly we can get geared up, especially now we have a little extra inventory space. Alright, we are in, and oh, thank goodness, I was slightly worried that we're going to get a complete ocean start. Well, let's grab this stuff anyway, even though I don't think we will need it for too much longer, because we have 3x3 crafting in my inventory now. Just want to make sure it's not too valuable for us to leave behind. Aha, this is what I was hoping for, actually. Oh, and there are cherry groves included in the forest biome types. Well, that's lovely, but it turns out leaf litter is incredibly easy to gather a stack of, as we discovered on the live stream, and is pretty valuable. Already a stack of 50 is up to 1.5, so as far as decorative blocks go, we will leave with a lot of experience if we bring this stuff with us. However, I am going to look around for a couple of other materials, especially including iron. Leaf litter is just so easy to get in large quantities, though, because you can get up to 4 of it per block, so the average forest is going to have an absolute ton of it. There we go, we got 4 stacks of that. That's some pretty good guaranteed experience already. Let's at least chop down a tree and we'll get hold of a crafting table. Oh wait, sorry, no we won't. I have a crafting table in my inventory. Let's make ourselves a pickaxe right here from the inventory screen. That's a little bit weird, but I'm sure modded players are used to all of this stuff. While I'm here, I'm also going to craft a boat, because it looks like there's a decent amount of water in this world, so we should probably do a little bit of sailing here. And let me quickly check the value of the crafter and the sticks. Yeah, I don't think the lever is going to be worth much. So I think we'll probably chuck the crafter and the lever, since they don't seem to be essential to our experience past here. I did just pick up icy surfaces, though, and that's an XP multiplier. That's an interesting one. I assume that's a change to the physics of the world, not a change to what generates in the world. And I'll explain that again in a second, because something did happen to me on the stream that was, let's say, a little bit traumatic. Or wildflowers might be similar to leaf litter in terms of the XP we can get from them, so those are also going to be a nice easy gather. And oh, we got sniffers as an ingredient from that, of course, because we're collecting flowers, and sniffers love flowers. Amazing. Right, well, we'll definitely grab those. They look like they're of equivalent value to leaf litter. We've also got the firefly bushes in here, which just gave us, what, swamp biomes? Nice. It looks like a full stack of firefly bushes is actually going to be pretty valuable, so if I spot any more of these, I will definitely gather them up. It doesn't look like we have swamp biomes here, but they'll find a couple by water around here. There's also bushes and stuff as well. I'm going to pause here and grab a little bit of stone, since we're still working with a wooden pickaxe, but I can actually craft from my boat, so we have absolutely no problem getting hold of a stone pickaxe from there. Gosh, the inventory overlap is making my eye twitch, though. There are pink petals here, because of course there's a cherry biome right close by, and it looks like the pink petals are about the same as the wildflowers and stuff, so a nice easy stack of those should get us decent points. And florists in this world must be making absolute bank. But either way, it looks like we found a cave that I should be able to sashay my way into, and hopefully we can find some iron down here, because iron is going to be worth a great deal. Obviously, right now we also want to be on the lookout for coal so that I can make some torches, because we are still going to encounter creepers in this world, remember? And I should probably make an axe just so I can defend myself. So we'll pop the firefly bush up there. We'll keep hold of those since I am quite keen on having those ingredients in future worlds. I'll probably throw out the wooden pickaxe. We could use it as fuel later, I suppose, but we need a bit more hardcore fuel if we want to be smelting a lot of iron. It seems like the mineral composition of the world is not necessarily dictated by the mine crafter, so we should be able to find iron similar to how we've been finding coal and spotting copper occasionally too. Ah, and there's our first creeper. Okay, well, hopefully we'll be able to dispatch that, or at least let it harmlessly explode. There we go. Okay, and now, as we dig on down, oh, I'm hearing silverfish. So we must be in a mountain biome. I'm quite surprised that silverfish are even a thing if we didn't choose them on world generation, but I suppose silverfish stone still exists, right? There we go, that's our first creeper dispatched, and a silverfish followed immediately behind it, but that's fine. We should be getting down deep enough now that we're going to find iron, presuming that world generation is normal. We're at least finding lapis, and that's a good thing to have. We've also leveled up enough that I can maybe consider spending something else in the crafting category. The enchanting thing is quite funny considering we're using levels for something completely different. But there's some iron behind the lapis. I knew it was worth digging through the lapis. Okay, well, let's grab the iron now, and let's get smelting. All right, we'll throw the sticks on the ground. I'll craft myself a furnace using the 3x3 in my inventory, and we have 8 pieces of iron ore. So I guess let's start by making charcoal. Gonna cook the boat in order to do that. I'm pretty sure the boat should provide adequate fuel for at least 1 piece of charcoal out of this, since we're getting down towards deep slate levels now, and I'm not certain exactly where I'll be able to find coal beyond that, but charcoal will do the trick. Yeah, turns out boat's pretty good at cooking. Okay, let's put the charcoal in the inventory. We'll probably pop that back in the furnace so that when it smelts down the rest of that boat, the iron will keep cooking, because we need to get enough for a full block of iron so I can show you some alchemy. Oh, looks like there's a vein of coal right here. Okay, we needn't bother with the charcoal at all, but I was down to my last few torches and I was concerned we should probably light the area up as well. This will make me feel a little bit happier about our surroundings. There's some gold right there as well. I don't have the iron pickaxe required to mine that quite yet, but we're going to be using the iron for something else. Brilliant, there's some iron right up here. We need to get to at least 9 because we're going to be crafting a block of iron once we have this, instead of crafting it into iron tools and the like. And you might be wondering exactly why. Well, this owes in no small part to me raiding Prowl8413 after we were done with our initial craft mine stream. And he pointed out to me that even though the value of 9 iron ingots is 0.27, if you turn that into an iron block, the value goes up to 1.8. So blocks of iron are immensely more valuable than the components required to craft them as far as getting experience goes. So if we were to set up an iron farm in one of these worlds, we would be making out like a bandit every time we completed that world. Now, I don't actually know if the world resets if you revisit it or not. So if we set up an iron farm in an iron-rich world, and we were able to come back to that every time, we could potentially end up farming experience from a world like that. However, I'm curious, the blocks of lapis are even more, because 0.36 for 18 lapis, but then 7.2 for 2 blocks of lapis. Lapis goes crazy. That's very good to know. Even the iron ingots are going to be worth bringing with us. I'm going to see, we'll maybe just throw out the firefly bush, since tragically I don't think we're going to encounter that many more firefly bushes right now. Let's see if we can find a bit more iron or something else to grab from around here. I think even the copper might be worth gathering, and I can see redstone and diamonds down there too. Well, in fact, maybe I should go and grab some sticks from the surface and use some of this iron to make an iron pickaxe so we can at least assess the minerals. We'll do a little mineral survey here. And I'll be honest, I'm mostly interested in getting hold of enough levels to completely open up my inventory so I can play Minecraft normally again. It's sort of the vibe here. I'm running out of inventory space constantly, and I think it's really cool having a kind of skill tree of unlockable abilities, but right now I really want the deeper pockets, and a bundle is apparently a thing once you hit 50 levels there, so I would really enjoy having something like that. Let's at least knock down this cherry tree so I can get some more wood, because we'll need that for all kinds of crafting stuff while we're down here. But amazingly, the normal advancements are also part of this. If I hit L here, we can see that, yes, the normal progression of Minecraft is there, although the Eye of Ender is now an Eye of Exit, which presumably shows you which direction the exit portal is. And there are other custom advancements we've been getting along the way, including one that's completing at least 1 mine with every possible mine ingredient. That's the point at which I think it just becomes like Minecraft again. You're playing playing Minecraft at that stage. I did just realize that I'm missing a trick here, and I should probably be crafting a few more torches with some of the ingredients that we're picking up. So let me turn a bunch of these planks into sticks. Now there's a bit more iron up here. We're going to aim to get hold of 9 pieces of every material so that we can... Oh no, the skulk. I really don't want that in the world, but here we go. We've got the deep dark biome as an ingredient. But there's so much lapis up here in the wall already that as long as I've got inventory space for that, and it looks like we're actually getting hold of some different components from that. There are a bunch. Let's see what we can get. Cave world. Okay.
It was either Genshin or my assignments, since I've decided I wanted to play more Yu-Gi-Oh!
Blocks, and oh my gosh, that's
Yu-Gi-Oh! Genshin assignments.
Yeah, I'm
thinking
I can
only
do
two, and I have to skip one.
So that we can drag a few more
and
of
obviously,
these
since
with us, because
school
they are
is mandatory
at this stage. And it looks like this region we're in right now is chock full of minerals. I want to get up here and block off this lava source just to make sure I'm not missing anything behind there. And so it's slightly easier to acquire this pretty expensive lapis. This massive cave nearby also has reserves of redstone. There's a bit of iron in the floor here. If we even stumbled across a huge iron vein, that would be, I think, breaking the economy slightly. But I wonder if those are structural elements that we need to add into the world as well. Imagine there being iron veins everywhere in a world. What a glorious world that would be. I'm going to pillar up here to get hold of this redstone, and I'm looking forward to seeing how much redstone is going to get us. That's 0.1, but if we turn that into a full block, that's going to be presumably a bit more. Yeah, considering I have almost 10 times the amount of value in a handful of lapis blocks than I have in any of the leaf litter and pink petals, I think we'll probably give those a miss. I'm going to pillar up to get even more lapis out of the ceiling right here. That's also gathering me XP as well, so that's perfect. That's 2 more blocks. Oh my gosh, 25.2, that's enormous. I've already pointed out that there are XP multipliers for some of these worlds as well, so imagine how much XP we can end up gathering if we have that. Now the creepers have found me, but right up here we have our first vein of diamond, and I am incredibly precious about this. We're going to throw out the stone pickaxe so that we can get hold of some of that, and let's see how much a diamond is worth in this world. Well, it's probably not worth me going down there and tangling with that creeper to get one, so let's see if we can grab this one instead, drop the deep slate, and that's worth 1 point. So 1 full point of experience for a diamond. Imagine how much a block of diamond is going to be. This genuinely feels like the early stages of Minecraft, caving for whatever minerals I can find. It feels a little bit perilous right now, but that's worth 2 blocks worth of redstone, and the blocks of redstone are not quite as valuable as everything else. So I guess we can not worry too much about redstone. Lapis, on the other hand, that is a precious stone at last. I wonder if that hints at lapis having some other kind of functionality later, like there might be some reason to acquire lapis in larger quantities, and that's why it's so valuable in this system, but I guess we'll find out as long as we can escape all of these creepers. Oh, yikes. Okay, yeah, I took a little bit of fall damage there. That was not intended, and we probably need to dispatch this creeper before it can potentially harm us. Right, there we go. We've got 9 iron, so we can add to our stack of iron blocks. I think we should be working our way back to the surface, though, because I am honestly pretty low on health right now, and I have no food. Let's chuck all of our sticks and iron in there. Let's defend it from the creepers. I really don't want to blow up, and I have no chance to sprint right now. What did I just pick up? Witches? Absolutely not. Don't want witches in my world anyway. I'm finding myself wishing I could eat these mine ingredients. Instead of using them as a recipe for a world, I want to use them as a recipe for food. But no, we need to get to the surface. We need to find something we can kill for food as soon as possible, and from there, we should be able to make our way to the exit. With a couple of these sticks, though, I might actually check something, because we have 3 diamonds. Is a diamond pickaxe worth anything more? No, it is not. Okay, and the other diamond tools, like a diamond axe, are actually worth less. So it seems like turning them into tools kind of depreciates their value, I guess. We'll see if that becomes a universal thing, but it's really interesting that turning them into full blocks of resources makes them more valuable. If I was able to stick around down here and get a full block of diamond, then naturally we would find ourselves with a lot of value on our hands. But I think the blocks of lapis alone are worth leaving this world with. Having to be really careful fighting these creepers. Is that an Enderman egg? Oh, I don't want to mess with that too much right now. Oh no, I'm actually taking hunger damage now. I haven't starved to death in Minecraft in a really long time, so I should be extra careful as I leave, but hopefully there is something out here on the surface that can provide some food for me. Because at this point, we'll be playing half-hearted hardcore, and if I take more than a couple of blocks of fall damage, I will end up dying, and that's really not something I want right now. Well, here's a quick alternative. We're going to turn a couple of blocks of this cherry tree into a boat. Since it's a nice day outside, we should hopefully be able to cruise around the waterways of this world, and I can hopefully find myself an exit. Let me drop a stack of the pink petals for now. Let's make sure we have room for the boat. Let's drop down very, very carefully here into the water. and let's see if we can find an exit, because if I can leave with all of this stuff right now, we are making bank back at the hub world. So right there is my initial entry point into the world. That should be the hub from which we start looking for the exit. But I can see now why the eye of exit is actually a useful thing to have, because chances are at some stage the exit for the world is going to be underground. It said surface exits in the ingredients for this world, so I presume it's going to be possible for an exit to generate in a place that's not immediately obvious where to find it. And that prospect is terrifying.
And there's no abyss shark anymore. That doesn't matter.
I think I did just spot some watermelons.
No
so
abyss
maybe
dweller
the food
either.
crisis can be solved. Yes. Oh, I've never been so happy to see melons. Man, it's a good thing we're not on hard difficulty, because yes, I would have starved. I would genuinely have starved. There we go at last. Oh, I'm so happy to see the sign of the exit portal over here. I wonder if it's underwater this time, or if it's in the middle of a jungle or something. The sun is setting now, so I'll have to keep my wits about me just in case we do run into any creepers on our attempt to exit the world, but fortunately enough, the exit has been in the direction that I set out, and it looks like it is just up here amid this forest biome. Yep, I see the arches. Let's get out of here, my friends. Melons, it turns out, are worth almost nothing, so I'm going to chuck those out in favor of the cherry boat, which is probably worth an equivalent amount. But it doesn't matter, because we're leaving here with an absolute ton of lapis blocks that should be worth so much experience, even a few diamonds, even though it's tragic that we can't craft those into a pickaxe. Let's see how much experience we get once we leave the mine. Oh, yes. Oh, give me all of that tasty XP. Oh, that's so good. Wonderful, wonderful. 44 levels, 46 levels, a little bit hiding over here as well. We're above 50. 52 levels total. Well, that's going to buy me some extra pockets, isn't it? That's definitely going to buy me some deeper pockets. Possibly even the deepest pockets, although we'll get to that, because I need to search around this and see what else it's possible. You can gain even more experience from smelted things. There are also a few of these poisonous potato ones that I'm really not certain what those do or how to unlock them. There's even some really goofy like references in some of these. There's like Star Wars references and stuff. It's pretty funny. The Gatherer tab is something I should have explored sooner as well, because this might actually start us with a couple of foods, or maybe, animals having a chance of dropping extra loot, starting with a campfire. I didn't consider campfires and smelting stuff. Also having luck of the sea and increasing our luck while fishing. That'd be super fun. The angler one is probably super good to have too. A spell book is also possible, and I believe somewhere in here in the exploration, you can get an additional jump. So you can have a double jump in this game if you want to, and that, as far as I can tell, I'm going to unlock it now because I just feel like it. Yeah, it has an additional layer to it, so for all I know, you could unlock double jumps, triple jumps, quadruple jumps, and forever and ever you could end up just jumping. So that'd be kind of fun. Pathfinder means stop hitting yourself when using the Eye of Exit. I wonder if that's thrown like an Ender Pearl or something. Curious. Amazing.
That is
super fast. I have
ridiculous.
No idea what that means. It scares me slightly, some of the descriptions of this. But brewing stands are also part of this. Maybe you can throw a brewing stand in right at the beginning. I don't know how easy it would be to craft potions, especially not having gone to the Nether yet. But oh boy, the possibilities here. I'm actually having a hard time deciding what to spend my levels on, but I think I'll come back and get deeper.
This guy wasn't in the list
run we do. For now,
that I copied from YGO Pro.
Hunter, I'm going to get mining over the sea, and I think anything related to mining efficiency is going to be super helpful, considering that we're going to get lots of lapis if we can find it on the next couple of trips. I think we'll get an apprentice smelter as well, because that should unlock some permanent furnaces and coal that appear at the start of every level when we need to launch it. Is there anything else I can get for just 2 levels? We haven't unlocked pets yet. I'm slightly worried about this, so maybe we should enjoy Dirt Enjoyer. I don't know exactly what this means, but I guess we'll find out. You enjoy dirt more than others? Yeah, I'm kind of curious what that means. But for now, look at all of this stuff we've unlocked. There are so many wacky things to explore here. I think we're done for this video at least, but I'm going to put this second mine here on the pedestal, and we're going to consider this side the mines that we've won, and maybe consider the mines that we've lost on this side. But either way, we're going to call it there for this video, and hopefully you've enjoyed this look at the craft mine update. I'm going to be back. I think I will continue playing this, and hopefully we'll see if we can create a world that has all the ingredients of Minecraft and more. But for now, thank you so much for watching this episode. My name has been Pixelriffs. Don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you folks soon. Take care. Bye for now.
Whoa. Well, that's death. That was my. So that is the power of mermail. How has it taken me this long to encounter one? Encountered them. Oh. Oh. Well, this is depressing. Well, at least I know I can go uninterrupted from here. Well, actually, they might draw into bullshit. It's not might, I know they will. Do they actually have a way out?
and bringing Blue Eyes to the tournament stage. So maybe we're going to have our first Blue Eyes match on both sides of the playing field. We are about to see. Let's find out together. Best of 3 it is from here on out. Who's going to take it? Emre has won the coin toss at the very least.
How did that happen?
Is he our Blue Eyes player or... Yes! Neo Kaiser Seahorse normal summon with the quickness being linked off into Spirit with Eyes of Blue. Good start here for him. Chainlink 1 Spirit, Chainlink 2 Neo Kaiser.
Am I gonna get hand looped? I am gonna get hand looped.
With Eyes of Blue. But the Crossout Designator! Chainlink 4 cards are flying here from Emre.
Spirit with Eyes of Blue is very popular Infinite Impermanence target because the Mausoleum is just so important. Sometimes you really need that extra normal summon for your level 1 light tuners. And of course, being able to summon out a Blue Eyes from the dragon, the Blue Eyes White Dragon, in fact, is a very, very popular thing. It's a very powerful thing, having this monster on the field, as iconic as it is, but now you can see the next normal summon. It is the Sage with Eyes of Blue that is going to give you access to either Effect Veiler or Mate with Eyes of Blue. In this particular case, I think that Effect Veiler will be preferred here because you have the setup with the Mate. It's in the graveyard. You can activate the Spirit later on when you send your Blue Eyes to the graveyard, and then you can summon it back, tribute it from the field, activate True Light, and you can use your Sage with Eyes of Blue as your tuner.
That is absolutely true, but there also is now Ash Blossom Jar Spring. You do not see that very often, using this against the field spell effect of Mausoleum of White. But here, I think Josh picked up on the fact that Emre so far has no access to the Blue Eyes monster itself, but we do have wishes for Eyes of Blue, and then of course can search for Roar, and then Roar equals the Blue Eyes that can be special summoned from the deck. So good Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, if not for the wishes in the hand of Emre.
And I love that you can discard Veiler for this card, because you can just search for another one. This might actually search for Maiden of White that can be activated now for the True Light.
Oh, nice.
True Light can, of course, get us another spell or trap card later on, so I think we prefer that over an Effect Veiler, right?
You can search Majesty, right? Which is a better interruption, arguably. So here comes the Blue Eyes White Dragon. We saw Emre there in the zoomed in camera. He's locked in. He wants to get this here. I mean, they're teammates, of course, at the end of the day in Team Snipe Hunters, but here right now, they will have to play against each other. I think there's going to be no mercy between the two of them, and Emre, of course, Josh always in the spotlight being the team captain, but Emre equally so, a very, very, very seasoned player, and ready certainly to take on his team captain here in this one.
He has been enjoying Blue Eyes in the last few weeks.
Yes.
Maybe he almost enjoyed it as much as fluttering people with the Blue One Race strategy, but now this field is a pretty basic setup. You have the Spirit with Eyes of Blue still on the field, couldn't get rid of it. Now you're summoning out your Blue Eyes White Dragon. It locked you into dragons before. I don't think that you're, with this line of play, go into multiple... Wait, no, you could just set up another Spirit Dragon here, because now that you're not locked anymore, Maiden of White special summons itself out. What you can also do, if you're not playing a big combo with Crimson Dragon or something, you can just go into another Spirit with Eyes of Blue and link off into the Heretic Seal.
And it looks like we might be doing that, in fact. Linking off right away, and you said so correctly, there's no other monster we want to summon out here. It is going to be Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres. Honestly, the best card you could go for, but...
End phase.
True Light effect in the end phase. I was wondering, why was there no activation? But Emre does it in the end phase. Majesty of the White Dragon is activated. Or is set, ready to be activated on the
Plays around Ogre plus Veiler, because if you use it in the main phase and they Ogre that, and you want to negate your True Light in the graveyard with a Spirit Dragon, you can be Effect Veilered. In the end phase, that doesn't work anymore.
True.
What is it with waters and hand looping?
Is it the Fire King deck, or is it the Blue Eyes deck?
Doesn't Gishki do that too?
Playing their Blue Eyes deck here in the first game. And Emre far ahead here with a big head start, playing from that Infinite Impermanence and the Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. Created a decent field, and Josh is trying to contest that now.
We call that the mirror with the Eyes of Blue. But now, look at it. So Josh has no access to Mausoleum yet. What you can do is a link up into Spirit. You could also use your Majesty already to destroy the Sage with Eyes of Blue to deny access to the Mausoleum. However, Maiden of White was already used. Maiden of White can be used to put a True Light, but then you can use these fields to your maximum potential.
Yes, that seems pretty good because Spirit of Eyes of Blue so far, Emre not ready to give up on any of his interruptions yet, just letting Josh do his thing for the moment. Mausoleum of White successfully added to the hand.
You could also just destroy the True Light, actually.
Yeah, and you can really see it in Josh's face. He's trying to work it out. He's trying to make the plan work, really focused as we usually know him. Really, basically, it feels like he's part of the game, right? He's like, he's fusion summoning together with the game, and he's just part of the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master, and that's what makes him so strong. His mind is one with the game, and now in that specific game here with the Blue Eyes White Dragon deck.
Does anyone know if Josh has blue eyes? Because he might as well be the player with the eyes of blue. Here, being completely locked in. However, Emre is the one dominating spot, and there's a call by the grave on the Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, which is huge. That is the best call by the grave target by far for...
It's crazy, and it does resolve. I mean,
I don't think I'm gonna be making it back to silver anytime soon.
With the called by the grave, because Seal equally so is really struggling against that. But as you say, this is beautiful too. Now Mausoleum of White. It's cool to see because usually called by the grave very much.
What the actual fuck happened to Mermaid?
Going first card, securing your own combo to go.
That's not a new deck.
Those have very decent applications going second as well, specifically against this Blue Eyes deck here.
But I still think that Emre has quite a lot of play with these
It is a
seals.
proper discovery, a proper
Either
exploit.
Josh forces out the seals now in the battle phase, which would grant Emre another turn with True Light as follow-up and Majesty to disrupt his opponent.
True.
Or you just wait, bounce the Blue Eyes White Dragon deck that Josh is inevitably going to summon, and destroy perhaps a bait or the True Light later on that Josh wants to put out. Okay? So you deny the Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon access, and then you destroy the Blue Eyes.
Okay, there comes Maiden of White now. So we're going to have equal amount of True Lights on the field in just a moment.
True Light can't really be activated right now. Oh, we activate Seal.
Okay, but they can chain to it though. Just chain the True Light, and I'm sure Josh is going to do so, right?
Yeah, but then you can still destroy it with the seals to destroy the Spirit Dragon. Which would also kind of good for Emre, to be honest. Have we done an extra normal summon yet? I don't think so, right? No. So that would be something that play is vulnerable to. Oh, we are bouncing? Okay, I see how it is. We are bouncing Spirit with Eyes of... And now, basically, Josh is also forced to activate the True Light to get into place. We have the Majesty. I was being very greedy with my line of play, to be honest, trying to maximize the value you get out of destroying the True Light, but you can also force Josh to activate True Light and then pop it. Also, we have another set card that we don't know of.
I mean, this is very cool here for Emre. That's what I was about to say, because we summoned out the Blue Eyes White Dragon from the field, and Majesty, of course, accounts not only for monsters in the graveyard and in the hand, but also on the field. And there we go. Immediately after the activation, now Josh, does he have a response? There is not much he can respond to the Majesty of White Dragons, and now no extra normal summon, and the True Light effect also not resolving. It looks like Emre really found a sweet spot here.
Majesty with their quickness activated to destroy True Light before it can resolve. Also getting rid of the monster with no recursion in the deck. Last card in hand is Wishes for Ice of Blue. We have used the Maiden in the graveyard already. So
that's the smile of a winner, I would say. Emre using that, get all those crazy interruptions already, and then just casually flipping up that card at the end of the turn to end Josh's turn.
Basti, who do you take on to beat a world champion? You just need another world champion to accomplish that. Because now Blue Eyes of White Dragon is being summoned back from the True Light.
It's a bit of a fatalist outlook, ain't it?
Look at this field. Look at no cards from Josh.
Yep, Emre really had the perfect start there, right? Solid Judgment, Crossout Designator, add some engine to really get this field going. Emre is enjoying himself here at the moment, and Josh, on the other hand, will probably have to take his first loss of the entire tournament, but due to us now being in the top cut, of course, the tournament structure changing as explained thoroughly. We are in a best of 3 mode now, therefore Josh, with all the possibilities of just trying to get back into this, and now also having the choice for the second game. Whether he wants to play Blue Eyes, or whether he wants to play Fire King against the Tenpai Dragon deck of Emperor. And we have it once again! Blue Eyes, White Dragon! Attacks per game. I did not expect going into this weekend that we would see this so often. This is the third time actually we have it happening now.
I'm gonna be honest with you though. Emperor choosing to go the Blue Eyes deck first is very, very interesting because now winning is in a difficult spot actually because you only have the Tenpai deck left, okay? So that's the situation here. And now, Josh can use the Blue Eyes deck, which doesn't have.
I mean, Tenpai is a good
going first field to go second against Tenpai. Tenpai will not be able to
choice to play past round 1, in my opinion. Because at that point, you can decide whether you want to go first or second, you know?
The third game, the Tenpai deck is going to let you start, and we have seen how well Josh does versus Tenpai. Fire King, Azamina, Snake Eyes deck.
Tell me you don't have a third one. Oh my god.
Josh took the L in the first
Bro
round.
just had everything.
He's out of this at all.
I think you're making a very good point. If you have this Geist Dragon Tenpai deck in Grasnell, I really like your idea of just using it in your first game actually, because that just like takes it out for the last games. We have plenty of Tenpai players in the field, so maybe them just realizing that right now for the remaining top 4 match, of course, afterwards, and that was maybe, on the other hand, maybe Emperor just expected Josh to completely read that situation the way you just read it, and therefore he just, like, fought ahead on that as well. I mean, we're currently talking about Emperor making a bad decision, even though he just won the first game, and therefore he's definitely ahead right now, so no need to worry for him just yet.
Oh wow, they apply simultaneously.
Josh, now,
That's interesting.
You gotta go second, right? There's just no debate about that. You don't let it happen. I mean, you could just pick the Fire King deck here, but it's just a big risk, so I feel like we're going to see the world champion. Oh, usually it's so easy to say that, but one of the world champions in that case, Josh, probably going to go second, but players are ready, therefore we should just head back over and see what we are getting here for game number 2 of our first top 4 match. So far, 2 world champions still smiling on the field. One of them might be heartbroken right after this game already. Can Emperor make it 2-0? Or does Josh come back into this? And do have Emperor going first. Yep. Josh has made the decision that we thought they would make. Oh, into the void means no cards end up in the hand in the end. Okay. Engage now.
It's a very all-in deck list that Emperor has on going second there, so this is a huge disadvantage there. Starting off with Into the Void is craziness. That's absolutely insane because you're going to get everything discarded. Sky Striker Engine adds another
Danger!
If you have Demential Spell and Trap cards here, you can set them all down. You have the Widow Anchor as well. Oh, Infinite
Guess what though, Leo? If you do not get a second monster onto the field here next to the Hydra, your Widow Anchors and stuff don't really do a whole lot anymore.
We play Striker Deck. Oh, we set a card. Set 2 more cards.
My. And we have to set everything if we want to keep it around, because that Into the Void was activated. And I think Josh's plan here worked out very nice.
What the fuck did I just...
To be broken, honestly. Let's see how he wants to approach it.
Unless Emperor all of a sudden gets some Labyrinth cards out there. This looks very, very strong for Josh. If he has a good hand, the Blue Eyes deck can sometimes struggle with finding Engine, because there are not too many cards that get you started.
There you go.
We're playing the Fire King deck.
Yeah, I wasn't super sure on him just going for the Blue Eyes strategy. I think I was pretty certain on him going second, but between the 2 options, I think having Blue Eyes going first against you're making a good point. It's risky. You're right. It's very risky.
I can imagine that Josh is going for a similar approach with the Blue Eyes deck as Emperor, with playing Solid Judgments and stuff like that.
Possibly, yeah.
And then I can understand it more, because the going first of the Blue Eyes deck is decent, but I think it's a little bit of an extra help with cards like Solid Judgment. Now, I mean, if you're playing Fire King Snake Eye here and you're having a decent start, I think Tenpai is gonna get reverse Tenpai.
Maybe it will be, but that makes it even more interesting of a decision. Like, we keep on elaborating on the situation that Emperor did pick that Blue Eyes deck for the first game, because that is a deck with the Solid Judgments in the main deck too, which just makes so much sense to have for the later stages of best of 3 as well, because you will be able to decide to go first, and when you can then decide to pick a deck with Solid Judgments in your deck while going first, that's just such a good thing to have. Okay, there's a Skyburner activated, and yeah, that is 4 set cards, now only 3 of them remaining. it's not even guaranteed that any of them do something. You see there, that's Ultimate Slayer. We had to set all of it, otherwise it would have just been discarded. There's no guarantee for it to be good. Now we activate the gear, and I think Josh just with ease working through all of those set cards there.
I think Josh is just having absolute music.
Yeah.
You see, he is just going in, destroying everything. This is like playing versus a Tenpai player who was forced to go first, forced to set everything. This is just like, you can do whatever you want right now.
That's cool. That is going to be... It's going to be Garu's Eternity, High End of the Fire Kings, and that will, of course, deal with the last remaining set card there from Amber. 4 at the beginning of the turn, and so quickly, just Josh takes care of all of them. Oh yeah, it's always like that, right? When they have infinite impermanence, you have the triple technic talents. They never have the effect Veiler when you have the triple technic talents. We all know that feeling. So Amber had to set it instead of activating it. Now the Hollow Razamina.
It's going to send away the Deception. Deception in the name, Destruction in the game. Now we're going to be able to activate Murcielago effect, search for the Wanted, and Wanted is going to give us access to the Diabellstar, the Black Witch. Which card does that give us access to?
Of course, the original Sinful Spoils. And then we can immediately go for Snake Eye Ash, possibly again, just accumulating monsters to be used for possible link summons, link climbing into the rest of our big monsters. Now the Wanted is activated. And Amra, yeah, no cards to be activated there.
Honestly, at this point, you can just summon Ilya Silva and attack, and you're probably still going to win that.
Yep.
Because Amra is left on absolutely nothing, just like Josh was in the last match where he ended on no cards in the Spell Trap Zone, no cards in the Monster Zone, no cards in hand, and now we have just Josh summon out Ilya Silva, Dominus Impulse, first appearance on this, absolutely crushing it here on stream. Diabellstar, the Black Witch, is going to send original Sinful Spoils, which is going to play a big role in this game because this one is going to summon out Snake Eye Ash from the deck, which is going to be followed up by Popular.
I have an inkling they want me to go first.
At this point, I'm sure you do. Snake Eye Ash on the field, limited, searching for the equally limited Snake Eye Poplar, but I mean, doesn't matter if they're limited, right? Because you still just get them out with
I
the original
honestly don't know what I should be doing.
No problem to do so. Poplar now, not even with a targeted deck anymore, though, as we already got through the original Sinful Spoils with our Black Witch, of course. We can still link it off.
Don't wait, Temple, go into Link Karibo, Poplar effect, put Poplar into the Spell Trap Zone, and now Snake Eye Ash is just going to have a great time sending off the Poplar, summon off Lambert Dragon. Lambert Dragon can push Hydra into the Spell and Trap Zone.
I mean, we can go Oak first here as well if we like, but we just can immediately go for the Lambert Dragon too. That works like a charm, I'm sure.
I think that Josh wants to win the game this turn, so therefore we're still going to see a lot of interaction here. Not with Emra, but with this other engine of the deck. Oh no, he's not even playing the Beastman cards, right? No. So, yeah, I discarded it.
Yeah. Kind of a giveaway.
Peter doesn't have a target yet. However, Hydra, somehow, there will be one.
Yeah, you might not even need it though. Let's just see. We go Promethean Princess. Promethean Princess bring back Flumberg. Flumberg put the Hydra into the Spell Trap Zone. I think doing some quick math here might be over 8,000 points of damage.
So it's 2-7 and 2-7 for 5-4, and then Flambirch as well in there.
Yeah.
You have the Snake Eye Ash as well. Oh yeah, that's the first 2-7 that I meant. Snake Eye Ash plus Ilya Silva is 2-7. Promethean Princess is 2-7. 5-4.
We did the math. Josh is doing the moves. We're heading into the battle phase, and we are good to go here. And we are forcing a deciding third game here onto Amber. Amber might have looked good in that first game with his Blue Eyes deck. Didn't look as good here in the second one with his 10th Light deck when he was forced to go first. Now though, deciding third match, Josh, on the other hand, will be forced to play his Blue Eyes deck again. And honestly,
it seems they're purely on board breakers.
So see whether he can turn it around with it.
That is true. So he either plays a heavy going first version that helps you versus the Tenpai deck, but also opens up a little bit for Emre to go for a first turn setup seals. However, we've just also seen that Josh did quite a good job at navigating through a field of Emre, so I would really count on that. Called by the Grave and is detrimental take care of a Heavenly Spheres, and the deck doesn't do too much more other than Heavenly Spheres. So I think that we're going to see Emre decide to let Josh go first. Emre has already got a lead by going second with the 10-pie strategy. So I think that we're going to see another clash of the dragons. Another chance for the Blue Eyes White Dragon to prove that it's still the superior dragon in the field. Or will the 10-pie dragons reigns?
Gotta see, we have two world champions now. One of them will be out of this tournament right after this game. They will have a chance to go on in style here. This last game, two of them is going to make the finals. Leo, what do you think? Which dragon deck is going to pull through? What's your personal opinion?
I mean, everyone loves the Blue Eyes White Dragon, but Emre has been looking so good, except for when he timed out with with his deck, or when he crashed the Nita that wasn't being summoned. So those were some minor mistakes.
Couple oopsies, yeah.
He has to learn from his mistakes, and I think that Emre is going to take it away here.
Let's see. I'm sure we're going to see Emre going second, as he has been doing so often here throughout this tournament. But this time, is the deciding one against his good friend and team buddy. We see Emre selecting to go second. You see 1 star on each side, next to the Blue Eyes deck of Josh. Wait, actually, Josh won with the Fire deck though, so he will be on the Blue Eyes strategy now. Emre won with the Blue Eyes deck already.
4,000 damage, we're halfway there on Emre's side already. New Kaiser's Seahorse is being normal summoned. Here we have the Sage in hand. Of course, however, we want to link this one off into the Spirit with Eyes of Blue.
Here it comes.
Prime Infinite Impermanence target now, especially since we've added the Sage. And also, I think Neo Kaiser's Seahorse is a good normal summon. It gets you started into your engine. However, I think it's the one that is most vulnerable to a hand interaction from your opponent. Because Sage, when it gets Effect Failure or Impermanence, this can still go for Light with Spirit into the Mausoleum. This one gets Impermanence, the Sage in the hand does nothing.
The thing though is, it doesn't matter, as you know what Emre's deck is for this one. You know that Emre is playing the Sky Striker 10-pie deck, and therefore you know that you don't have to fear Effect Failure.
They had two.
So you can just kinda design your turn around that knowledge. You can just kind of make the decision based on that knowledge advantage, but you know that this deck just plays those field-breaking cards such as Lightning Storm or the Sky Striker cards, and therefore you don't really have to worry about those things. You can just like basically play the best combo you have, disregarding all kind of interruptions from your opponent. Now we switch an Effect Failure as well, and honestly, that's a pretty good thing to have against the 10-pie dragon, as long as they do not have, of course, Senken Summoning.
Also, I find it quite hilarious that life points in the matchup versus 10-pie for any deck, they do not matter for some reason, even if it's very important to reduce the life points to 0. It feels like the 10-pie deck either does 0 damage to you, or 20,000.
Yep, that is true. Emre, I'm trying to judge his face there, and I think he looks alright. I think he's believing. He's not super upset about what he's seeing, so maybe he already has those Lightning Storms or half his Feather Dusters in his hand. Just so good against this deck. We did not even need to set the wishes there off of the True Lights. We can just activate it from hand. So we're searching for another Effect Failure here, right?
I think
so. That would be double Effect Failure, which is a huge setup.
Also, Majesty, you can also get the Spirit Dragon, the Blue Eye Spirit Dragon out as well. And beautiful signature from Shining Victories in TCG. Get Effect Failure, the Majesties. This is the full setup here. More setup from spells or trap cards and Peters in hand than from Blue Eyes cards on the field, actually. But I think there's 1 or 2 unknown cards in the hand of Judge, so perhaps Solemn Judgment might be there as well.
Yeah, but I mean, I love the plan here from Josh. I love him forcing this situation of having Blue Eyes versus 10-pie in the last game, because we're talking about all those field-breaking cards. On the other hand, though, we just search double Effect Failure, and Effect Failure is a card that can't be hit by all of those cards. And we do play Ultimate Fusion. Okay, I thought Ref's cards was the only one relying on that card here in this tournament, but no!
They might have Superstar Slayer. Actually, they don't.
He has it here as well.
Yeah, that's absolutely
they would have used it
for him. Fusion is going to be able to pop cards by shuffling back Blue Eyes White Dragons from the graveyard.
Diva.
You want to activate Majesty first.
Oh
Lightning Storm is so big here. Are you going to destroy everything? There is the chance for Josh to activate something. How much does that really do for you here, Blue Eyes White? my Spirit Dragon is still there to negate the True Light afterwards. Will Emre have an answer to that one as well?
That's why Emre was looking so calm the entire
If you
time.
have a judgment here, you activate it immediately,
Of
right?
course.
There's no question
Very
about
much.
that. So I think Josh is in a bit of a pickle.
I do agree, there is no solemn judgment waiting. Life points of Josh already halved due to that Fury Rise map. Yeah, that is such a rough one. Actually though, oh, we do chain the ultimate fusion at least. That is something that we can work
Well,
with at
I'm
the
back
very
to
least,
silver
but
at
we don't
least.
even summon out of that yet.
Let's play something else.
What?
Ah.
We can't summon out the rest of Twin Dragon. We can summon out Iron.
Yeah, I think we just summon out Tyrants, possibly. I mean, we can just give up on
I am
Blue Eyes
very
and
much
Dragon
not a
because
fan
Magic
of
cannot
hand
be used
loops.
anymore, and that is Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon.
I don't
indeed.
think I
In
want to
the
learn
tank
Mermail.
position there,
I was like,
destroying
hell yeah, I want to
all
play
of
Deep
the
Sea
other
Diva,
cards.
I want to play...
Activate.
Water is like a
And also,
kind of a
and also
favorite
Wolf is now
element.
active monster effect, right? So
The blue.
From the discard
But,
monster would be absolutely
I am
brilliant. No
not a
Blue Eyes
fan of
Spirit Dragon
hand ripping.
gets to negate a card in the graveyard another day. Immediately
Centurion's just way too
for
fucking weak.
the ultimate Spirit Dragon.
How is this relevant?
So
For a
Amber
meta.
still sitting there with 5 cards in hand, but also with the knowledge that there is 2 effect
I wanna keep-
wailers in
I
hand.
want to keep using
Waiting for an
rituals.
ultimate slayer, though, is the perfect answer as well to the ultimate Spirit Dragon, because it cannot respond to it whatsoever. Oh,
Don't send a Synchro monster.
interesting.
I think there is. Oh, we have negates to targeting effects in the graveyard.
One
right?
last duel and then I'm gonna...
Anyways, we decide not to target
Let's
the
go.
graveyard.
No, you're not, no. Afterburner now, okay.
That is so big because it forces out the negate or special summons out Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon from the graveyard that can't activate the effect to tribute itself, but can then negate another card in the graveyard perhaps. In negate, the afterburners, the 4000 defense points are valued by Josh and these. And now we activate Engage, Sky Striker, Mobilize, Engage with 3 cards in the graveyard. Kagami is a card that at this point I think you would want to negate. Just at 4000 life points, the Widow Anchor is almost enough damage here, right?
Let's
Or
see them
when
extra
it
deck.
negates it, the 4500 still stay, right? You just attack here.
Let's see. Widow Anchor on the Ultimate Spirit Dragon. The attack points do go down, but we only need 500. Oh, and there is Sangan summoning. We see the nod of respect from Joshua Schmidt. At the end of the day, it might be Ember
Chaos
really
Angel
taking
and
down his
Star
team
Slayer.
captain
The
here.
fact that...
Yeah, we
Is this
see
Lab?
Perfect Veiler. We all know
This is
that
definitely
too.
Lab.
You may as well
I'm playing
take
against
the other one.
Lab.
And he does, and Ember
This-
is smiling. He is winning against
This
his
is actually
team
hilarious.
captain here.
Yeah, you can at this point you can add Kaiman, but you can also just put in attack position. Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon with 3,500 whopping attack points. No, we continue. We
This is
add
Comedy
Devil
Central
or
right
Chandra
now.
Here, special summon it to the field afterwards. Josh is at 4,000 life points because of the Fury Rise map. And as I said earlier, the 4,000 really do not matter because it's either no damage or 20,000 damage, and this is one of those 20,000.
Look, we don't even
Wow.
use them on. Wait, was it summoned? It was summoned this turn. We can't even
That's
finish
very
the
good
deck.
point, yeah.
That's something we completely
Yeah.
did not account for there, but that's easy 4,000 points of damage anyways.
Yep, Fadra is going to attack here as well. Can't summon anything out of the graveyard, but Hydra, the most iconic trio in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. Fadra, Chandra, and Hydra take out World Champion Joshua Schmidt and advance the World Champion and
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is...
finals
Yep.
of the 3rd anniversary Master Duel Invitational.
Big
There
Amber
she is.
really had a clear position here ahead of this weekend. He, actually together with me, as I have to mention, in the 2nd year anniversary
Yeah.
Invitational, lost in the finals, so he has to make up for that this time, as we introduced it with as well. Now securing one of those really cool trophies with the Elemental Hero Neos on it. He will be either facing Barcode, who he also really has like some talk to have after that last game they just had with the timeout on Ember's end, or of course on the other hand, Colossa. Very much also very experienced in those invitationals, having a very good run in the first one of them as well, so very much some good competition left in this.
I see now with Josh being out, I think that Barcode has the highest chance of winning the tournament. Because he is left in the tournament, 10-5 players, and he is the player best prepared for it. potential in the extra deck of his Snake Eye deck. So go slow with the horse as well. We just like
Barcode has to win 2 matches and then Emra is already to the finals. So for me, for now, Emra is my prime candidate to make it through, honestly.
Alright, you're going with the statistics here. I'm trying to go.
I'm a numbers guy, you know.
I know. You're the mathematician. You're the true mathematician. But we are ready with the interview for Emra. Let's go over to Ed.
You want maths? I'll give you maths, gentlemen. 2 is greater than 1. That's how many rounds you won. I'm good at this. So congratulations, Emma. You are now through to the final. This is not the first time. In this very room, a year ago, got to this same point last time.
Exactly.
You didn't win it last time.
Unfortunately.
Do you think you can win it this time?
I think, yeah, I think I can win it this time. I thought last year as well, together with Lumpy, that we could win it together. Unfortunately, we couldn't. But I guess, again, my chances are good, I would say. So, we'll see.
I mean, so far it's looking pretty good. That was a fairly confident thing. Was it slightly bittersweet having to go up against, you know, your World Championship teammate?
No, not really. I mean, I know Josh for so long now. We're so close friends. It doesn't really matter.
Not anymore. You guys aren't going to talk after this, but perhaps at least one trophy.
Yeah.
Got that, maybe that second place, maybe that first place, but we'll have to see. Congratulations on
Thank
getting
you.
this far. I'm going to give you a bit of time just to decompress because we have one more feature match in the semi-finals before we get to see Emre against, well, who? We'll find out because coming up next is Barcode versus Colossa. Which one of these will Emre take on in that final? We'll find out very, very soon. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Do we try getting rid of her? Because... No. The back row is... Yep. Here's the scary thing. We're gonna have to go second now. This hand's not it. Oh God. That's a furniture or some shit. I love that you're my fucking top deck. Whoa! What the fuck? Can we get a timeout here? What the fuck just happened? The best part, I can't beat over an Ariana! Holy shit! They have a Star Slayer, don't they? $20.50 is so fucking annoying. It literally says it's objectively the wrong choice to play Drytron with me. Incantations can still work though. The biggest problem about generic support for a playstyle is that it either becomes so good that that's how everyone plays that playstyle, so you don't make it too strong, so as a result people just don't play it because you just made it so the playstyle was already good enough on its own. Like, why would you play Incantation in Voiceless Voice when Voiceless Voice is already so good just on its own? One more duel.
That's right, I've just started my YouTube career and I've already lost my creative integrity. Minecraft, a game with slightly more money and slightly fewer children than the Catholic Church. But despite being the biggest game in the world, there are some problems. Wow, shocking. A 20-something-year-old playing a children's game has problems. The game has many systems in it. Unfortunately, a lot of them are basically useless. Like me. Many of them seem confused.
Holy
like
shit.
they don't serve an actual purpose beyond just bloating the game.
Bro, it's him.
I'm not just talking about the recent editions being shit. Everyone and their dog has already beaten that to death. The Sniffer is a bit underwhelming and the archaeology system is a bit
Bro, it's actually him. What the
what
fuck?
a brave fucking statement. Be careful, you might end up on an FBI watch list with those radical ideas. No, I'm talking about the systems that Mojang has left to rot, like a dog in a hot car. Systems that have been in the game for years but have never been useful in the survival playthrough. And I'm looking at this from the perspective of a normal survival world. Just me and maybe some of my very real friends that I definitely have.
Play Minecraft.
Oh, and also I play on Java because... But most of what I'm going to say also applies to Bedrock. Side note, for all the talk of parity and consistency between the versions, some things are just completely different between them. Like the way damage is calculated. Like, why are these numbers different? And also, just to clarify up front, nothing I suggest is ever going to be done. Something a lot of people seem to forget when they're talking about ways to improve Minecraft is that Minecraft is already the most popular game in the world. Microsoft has no need or interest to change game mechanics. Their #1 priority is don't rock the boats. It's the reason why we get all these bullshit filler updates that don't actually add anything. But just because something is successful doesn't mean it can't or shouldn't be improved.
Literally nobody wants that.
It's a valuable resource!
Yeah, that is not valuable.
First up on the chopping block is brewing. A system with so much potential that falls so flat. There are 19 types of potions in Minecraft, and only like 3 of them have common use cases. Water breathing is good when exploring ocean monuments. Fire resistance is really helpful in Nether, especially when fighting blazes. And night vision is good if you don't know how to install Fulbright. There is also the weakness potion that cures zombie villagers. Use the potion for its actual effect. They agree to make something. Aside of these though, it's only niche uses. When am I ever going to be in a situation where I'm like, you know what I really need right now? To be able to jump 1 block higher for exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds. And this is possibly Potion's biggest fault. They don't last nearly long enough. A potion like Jump Boost could be really useful, like when navigating steep terrain. But because they're so short, you need to drink every time you encounter the slightest obstacle. I mean, Jump Boost 2 only lasts a minute and a half, and making it requires a
And I can't do anything, because Sierra's gonna get destroyed.
That's 1 rabbit every 51.3 seconds. Regeneration 2 requires a gas tier.
Oh, the card in my hand's gonna get destroyed.
For an effect on par with eating. And you know, they just call me the Turtle Master. Because I only last 20 seconds. Like, Turtle Master is a fun idea, but getting skewed is such an asinine and time-consuming process. Just to get something so short is pretty disappointing. Actually, I might be starting to see where these girls are coming from. To be fair, most potions aren't that hard to obtain. But there is an issue that they all share, and that's that they can't stack. Inventory space is already so limited, which is another issue that Mojang doesn't seem interested in actually fixing. A potion like Swiftness could be really useful when exploring. They provide that electro alternative all the hull monitors you're looking for. But to get any meaningful use out of the effect, you need to fill up half your inventory with speed. Extending the duration of the effects and making them stackable would open up so many new possibilities. Like, do you know how nice it would be to have Jump Boost when trying to build? I really don't see longer durations or stacking as game-breaking changes. Mostly they would just be really nice quality of life changes, so I don't have to keep stopping what I'm doing, placing a shulker, and playing inventory management simulator every few minutes to top up an effect. Well, technically there is one way to get any potion effect to stack. Tipped arrows are Potion's stupid little brother. First off, they're oddly hard to get. If you want any large quantity of them, which, considering their ammo, you're probably going to want a few of them, you need to beat the game. And if you run out, you're going to need to resummon the dragon. And the effects are just useless. And I know a lot of them are meant to just be funny, like shooting somebody to make them breathe underwater, or shooting somebody to make them invisible. But even the effects that should be useful just aren't. Considering a bow is a weapon, you probably want to do more damage. Like with arrows of harming, a name that gives the same vibe as
Road work ahead? Yeah, I sure hope it does.
arrows that do extra damage. Sounds great. Except for the part where the pumping effect actually heals half the mobs in the game. So you actually need to carry around 2 sets of arrows for when you encounter undead mobs. And the same problem applies for regeneration and poison. You need a hot swap depending on what you're fighting. A transition about as smooth as my Ford Focus going from first to second.
What on earth?
All for the earth-shattering, game-breaking effect of 2 seconds of poison. Which can make a normal mob with the average 20 HP a 1 to 2 shot. A massive improvement on the basic Power 5 bow, which kills in 1 to 2 shots. Shit. Yeah, there are 76 types of mobs in Minecraft, and a Power 5 bow can guarantee 2-shot, if not 1-shot, all but 10 of them. And that includes bosses. And maybe that's where they'd shine, against the Ender Dragon and Wither. Bosses have large enough health pools that you can really see the difference the extra damage makes. Except the part where they are immune to all potion effects, so they do literally nothing. Tipped arrows really are one of those things that sound like a great idea, but no consideration was ever given to how they'd actually be used.
Sounds good. Doesn't work.
In basically every situation, they make no difference. And trying to even use them is such a hassle. You spend so much time fucking around your inventory trying to select the right one. You could have just shot the thing again with a normal arrow.
Very
It
nice.
beats the classic sword and bow combo. And I mean that. All the other weapons they've added fucking suck. Remember before they added the base and everybody was freaking out about how game-breaking and overpowered it was? Then it got added and everybody immediately forgot about it? Because it actually sucks. For starters, they're a pain in the ass to get. Heavy core is only a 7.5% drop chance from Ominous Vaults, so on average you need to do over 13 to get 1
I mean,
core.
they don't have anything,
And once you do
don't
eventually
they?
get it, they're a pain in the ass to use.
I can normal summon
To
this
make them
without
work, you
consequence.
jumping off of stuff like a member of One Direction, and the results will probably be about the same. Oh, but you can one-shot the Warden! How often are you actually falling for world height? You know there's a difference between a feature and a gimmick, right? Its gimmick is that it can do one really big hit, but this almost never happens. There aren't nearly enough high HP mobs to justify a slow one-shot, one-kill weapon. Most of the time, you're just fighting normal mobs in a field or a cave.
Well,
where
they
there's
know
not
what
enough
I'm
stuff to be
playing
jumping off
now.
of consistently to make the thing work. And where it seriously struggles because it's way too slow. And besides, a sword can already two-shot pretty much anything anyway. Or on Bedrock, where a critical attack can already one-shot most things. Similar problems exist for the trident, just like the bastard love child between the sword and the bow. At first glance, it doesn't seem too bad. It does 9 damage, which is more than another right sword. Except on Bedrock, where it actually does the same damage. The problems with the trident really begin once you start enchanting. Impaling, the enchantment that increases the damage it does, has a caveat that makes it completely useless. It only affects aquatic creatures. You know, like fish and turtles, mobs whose natural predators are plastic straws. There are only 2 hostile mobs it affects, Guardian and Big Guardian. And no, Drown don't count. Okay, so it might not do much damage, but it makes up for it in versatility because it can also act as a ranged weapon. Except it's a pretty shit ranged weapon, this ain't no Moonveil. It does about the same damage as a normal bow, but once you enchant the bow, it does around double to triple the damage. And the bow attacks way faster because you don't need to retrieve your weapon after every attack, which is definitely important with Minecraft's jank hit range. I believe it was Sun Tzu who said, "Don't throw your weapon, dipshit." If you actually want to use it as a ranged weapon, then loyalty is a necessity, because otherwise... and it's gone. And even then, loyalty is the most reliable thing in the world. The real problem is if you can enchant a trident with Impaling and Loyalty, then you can enchant a sword and a bow with Sharpness and Power, which just obsoletes the trident. So it's pretty bad in the late game, but it could be good in the early game. Having the equivalent of a netherite sword while you're still mining for iron will be pretty fun and provide an interesting gameplay experience. Except you're not going to get the trident early game, because it only drops from every 1 in 188 drown, making it one of the rarest drops in the game. And even with looting 3, it's only 1 in 139. That's 4.79 Edmund Fitzgerald's worth of drowned sailors. Except on Bedrock, where it's actually 1 in 18 chance. And even if you did somehow manage to get one in the early game, I hope you found a mending book while you were down there. Because it has the same durability
That
as a
didn't
heavy sword,
actually do
and
anything,
there's no way to
didn't it?
repair. Yahtzee said it best back in 2011, which was over 13 years ago. Holy shit.
The ratio of difficulty to find versus actual usefulness is completely arbitrary.
It's really a shame because both the Mace and Trident can actually be pretty fun to use. Like flying using Riptide or flying using the Skulls of Villagers. There's nothing wrong with having gimmicks. I said the same thing about Siege. Having things that aren't that useful is okay as long as they're fun. But when the only weapons you've added to your game in 15 years are gimmicks, it kind of becomes a problem. Well, there is one other weapon they've added since the official release, and that's the crossbow. And while it's better than the others because you can get it relatively easily, at the end of the day, it's just a worse bow with some gimmick enchants. Did you know multi-shot can't hit the same amount twice? The other arrows just bounce off. I thought the point was to be a shotgun, because with the arrows flying out at 10 degrees each, you're never going to hit anything with them.
Impulse.
10
That's
is just
strange.
unreasonable.
I
Nobody...
guess they don't have D-Bear.
A lot of people would even say, 5 is too much. I think 3 is a much more realistic number.
Oh, damn.
Speaking of over-penetration, Pierce.
I'm boned.
Which is infinitely more useful
It's
than multi-shot,
Jover.
but seeing as we're coming from completely useless, it could really only be up. Being able to collateral enemies is way more likely to happen than having to bust out a protractor, making sure that they're exactly 10 degrees apart from each other. But even then, you'd still be way better off just using a Power 5 bow instead of having to rely on the mobs to cooperate and stand in the right spot. Pierce exists almost exclusively for the 2 birds 1 stone achievement. Oh, I'm sorry, advanced. This may sound nitpicky, but I feel like the way that Mojang handles advancements says a lot about their game design philosophy. For starters, most of these aren't advancements. Advancement implies that you're progressing towards something or advancing through the game. It suggests that this is the intended way to play, but the majority of advancements are just random tasks. Get in a boat with a goat. Why? What's this advancing me towards? Same thing with looking at things with a spyglass. How is this in any way progressing me through the game? Play a jukebox in the meadows. Why? What is the connection between the jukebox and the meadows? It's such a random thing to ask. What I assume happened was that somebody at Mojang was super proud that they managed to make the Planesbound for a second time. Then they realized that nobody was going to give a shit because, well, it's the Planesbound for a second time. This whole thing is basically just a checklist for Mojang to say, please interact with our garbage content. It's pathetic. You know, if you make good content, you don't have to tell players to use it, right? And also, if you're trying to get players to engage through boring content, at least make the list user-friendly. Why is it a vertical list and a tiny horizontal window? You're the biggest game in the world and not a single person on staff understands basic UX design? And if you are planning on going for some of these, I hope you're keeping notes while you're playing, because the game doesn't tell you what you need to complete them. I'm supposed to visit 54 biomes, and I'm missing one, but the game doesn't tell me which one it is. Well, have you been to the ocean? And was it warm? And cold? And really cold? And how deep was it in its location? And the same problem applies to other advancements like eat every type of food, tame all the cats and dogs, collect children on a private island. There's no way to track what you're missing. But don't worry, Mojang, the community will fix that for you too. From here on out, we're going to get into some more radical ideas, so if you don't want your views challenged, now's the time to go watch another fake hardcore survival video. Because netherite is really fucking stupid. The template is a good idea. Having to raid a bastion before you're able to upgrade is interesting, and I wish the game had more unique experiences like that. But after that, it all falls apart. Gathering the required ancient debris takes hours of strip mining, and it's such a fucking tedious process. Like, me and the boys are running this shit on Hamachi. Our time is pretty limited. If we wanted to spend hours in hell, we would have queued Rank Siege again. But even ignoring that, it's just not worth the time and effort for such a worthless upgrade. Minecraft is not a hard game. Once you have iron armor, you're basically invincible from like 90% of the game's threats. And with enchanted diamond gear, you are invincible. The only time you die is whenever you do something really stupid. So I'm not really sure what the purpose of Invincible Plus is. And the tools aren't much better. The sword goes from a 2-shot to a 2-shot, or a Bedrock a 1-shot to a 1-shot because... And diamond and netherite mine at the same speed. So the only benefit it really has over diamond is it can't burn, which is pretty much meaningless because how often are you dying in netherite? It does have more durability, but that's negated by the fact that netherite is almost impossible to repair, because to repair netherite you need more netherite, which means a ton more mining. So much mining that you'll end up using up all the netherite's durability trying to get materials to restore the durability. So if you actually want to use netherite for anything besides, well, mining for more netherite, then mending is just a requirement, because mending makes any tool unbreakable, which negates any durability benefits netherite has over diamond. For some reason, a lot of people act like this is an issue that has to do with mending. They act like it's mending's fault that it's basically mandatory, but they never consider why it's that way in the first place. Maybe mending is so popular because some items can't function without it, and maybe because players don't want to lose items they spent hours grinding for. Maybe mending isn't the problem. Maybe durability is. The durability system was designed for how the game played 15 years ago and has barely changed since. Back then, the best gear you could get was plain diamond with no enchants. Tools weren't meant to be large investments you spend hours perfecting. They were meant to be consumable resources. The purpose of having durability is supposed to limit the uses an item has, therefore causing the player to spend resources, therefore causing the player to go collect more resources. The system relies on the premise that an item that breaks can be easily replaced with materials you've been gathering, and this still holds true in the early game. But once you progress further into the game, the system completely breaks down, because you're no longer gathering the resources required for the system to work. No one just has extra netherite lying around. You get the exact amount you need, then you never mine for it again. No one is killing 139 drown for a trident and then going, you know, I should get another, just in case. And no one has phantom membranes because any sane human being turns those fuckers off. And if you've enchanted to get the perfect gear, that can take hours of grinding. That's not exactly easily replaceable. Mending is just a necessity with how the current durability system works. They can make it slightly harder to get by geofencing into Florida. It would also help if the repair system wasn't botched. But that still wouldn't address the core issue. They forgot what the purpose of having a durability system is. These items are way too valuable to be consumable resources. They're clearly not designed to have limited uses. I mean, netherite with Unbreaking 3 has over 8,000 uses, and once an elytra runs out of durability, it doesn't even break. It just becomes unusable. It's almost like developers know that items this valuable breaking will be a terrible gameplay experience. And the reason players need mending on them is to effectively disable durability as a mechanic entirely. So if the developers are trying to avoid a mechanic, and the players are also trying to avoid a mechanic, then what the fuck is the point of it being in the game in the first place? These items having durability adds nothing to the game. At best, the system is pointless, and at worst, actively harmful. Removing durability would allow the usability of these items to be dictated by their capabilities, and not by whether or not the player has access to mending. Plus, netherite being indestructible would actually set it apart from diamond and help justify the time investment. And in the case of the trident, all durability really does is bar you from using it in the early game. And no, this isn't a game-breaking change. It would be a good quality of life change. Because, let's be honest here, mending isn't that hard to get. It's mostly an exercise in tedium, placing and picking up a lectern a few hundred times until you get the right book. Durability feels like something that belongs in Dark Souls. Because it's in Dark Souls. In Dark Souls' durability system is actually more similar to Minecraft's than you might think. Because, in theory, if an item breaks in the early game, you can replace it with what you've collected. But once again, the system completely breaks down late game. Because by that point, you've invested all your time and resources into upgrading one weapon. And if that weapon breaks, you don't have a replacement. Granted, I say in theory because durability almost never comes into play. You can legitimately play all the way through 1 and 3 and not even know it has a durability system. Not so much 2, though. Which is probably why in the spiritual successor Elden Ring, they removed the system entirely. Because they acknowledged it wasn't improving the gameplay experience. Most of the time, it's never given a factor, until it very suddenly becomes a factor and derails your whole experience. And Dark Souls isn't even as punishing as Minecraft. If an item breaks, you don't lose it. You just have to pay to repair it. If you really think about it, it's pretty odd for what is ostensibly a creative sandbox to have such incredibly punishing game mechanics. Can you imagine permanently losing your items in Dark Souls? Losing multiple hours of progress because you made a stupid mistake? That would be ridiculous. Oh wait. I needed to take a step back, forget all your nostalgia, and really think about how dropping your inventory fits into Minecraft. What does it add to the game? I know, it's been in the game for 15 years and it's become part of the game's identity. But similar to durability, it was designed for how the game played 15 years ago, where, again, the most valuable items were basic diamond. back then it made sense. And you know, it still makes sense in the early game. Because just like how every video game ever works, when a player dies, the game resets them to a slightly earlier point, which the player can usually recover from in a few minutes. Like, losing iron or diamond, that's a shame, but you can probably recover in a few minutes. But losing fully enchanted netherite with an elytra? That's not just a small inconvenience, that sets the player back by hours and completely derails their playthrough. Because now, instead of doing whatever you want to in this sandbox game, you need to spend hours reacquiring all of your gear. And it can have such a negative effect, it can just outright end playthroughs. I've personally seen people on servers lose their endgame gear and just stop playing. They're just done with the world at that point. Because grinding to get everything back is not fun, it's incredibly frustrating. And the worst part is, if you die late game, it's not going to be because of something difficult, like a challenge designed by the developers. It's probably because you were goofing around or did something stupid. Last time I died late game, I was flying through a cave looking for ancient cities. I misclicked a firework and that sent me slamming into a... died over 8,000 blocks away from home with all of my gear. And the only reason I was able to get it back was because I was able to borrow somebody else's elytra to fly back there. This was not a fun or enjoyable experience, it was genuinely stressful and frustrating. Because all I could think was, I'm gonna have to waste hours of my life reacquiring everything I lost. And maybe I'm crazy, it's the reason I'm on the no-fly list, but I don't think a misclick should be punished with 10 hours of tedious grinding. And Minecraft really is an anomaly, because drop inventory on death is actually pretty rare among progression-based games. Most games with drop inventory on death usually have a pretty heavy PvP focus, like DayZ, Rust, or Battle Royales. Games where the purpose of dropping your inventory is to reward another player, and where you're not really expected to get your items back. You're usually expected to start over from scratch and basically do a whole new playthrough. And while it is common to drop some items in progression-based games, it's usually something like currency or resources. You know, items that are easily replaceable. And more importantly, not progression-critical items like
Oh, they
weapons
do
or
have
equipment.
dimensional
And
barrier.
even in progression-based games where you do drop your whole inventory, usually your items aren't just scattered to the wind with a 5-minute timer until self-destruction. Usually they end up in a container where you can retrieve them at any time, therefore removing the stressful part of the recovery. It's why gravestone mods are so popular. And Minecraft could do something like this. While I don't think they go for the gravestone idea, they could do something like a treasure chest. Call it something like Soulbound, which makes it so if a player dies, you keep that item on respawn. So if the player dies, they still drop the resources and will want to recover. But critically, they don't drop the gear they spent hours grinding for, which they might need to recover the drop.
Chaos Hunter.
And if you're worried about this being overpowered or breaking PvP, they could make it so you can only get it from trading. In the end. So you still need to beat the game first. And they could add the caveat that if another player kills you, you still drop the enchanted items. And I know, you can turn on keep inventory in the settings, and I was actually surprised to learn how many people play with that on. Because yeah, you can turn off drop inventory, or you can install a mod. And while that might make your experience better, it doesn't address the core issue. For a long time now, Minecraft has had a hard time reconciling the differences between the creative sandbox mechanics and the RPG mechanics. Because they have added many of the systems that you do find in RPGs, like potions, durability, a couple different weapons, but they're all incredibly surface level. A lot of people act like it's fine these mechanics aren't good, and additions don't need to be deeper complex, because Minecraft is a creative game, and you're supposed to find creative uses for things. And if you really don't like something, either ignore it, change settings, or mod it. But the sentiment just hand waves away any criticism, and it moves the burden of making a compelling experience from the developer to the player. And really, it just boils down to, oh, you don't like something? Fix it yourself. But this also ignores the fact that most players don't change settings or install mods. They play the game as is. And default settings, by their nature, are implied to be the intended way to play by the developer. And just because Minecraft is a creative game, doesn't mean they should add poorly thought out content under the guise that the players will be able to figure out what to do with it. And it's not like you can actually use these in any meaningful or creative way. Most players will just get an item, goof around with it for a few minutes, realize it sucks, and then just never touch it again. And I really don't see why we can't have a creative sandbox and good RPG mechanics, especially when a lot of the fixes are so simple. Ultimately, these systems struggle for two main reasons. You have systems that have failed to evolve with how the game is played now, and you have new systems added on top of that shaky foundation. The new RPG mechanics struggle to find a place in the game because they haven't added the corresponding situations or
Right.
challenges that would warrant their
Meant
use.
to do that the other
There's
way
not
around,
really a
not
reason
that
to
it
use multiple
matters.
weapons, different ammo types, or buffs when a basic
Actually,
tool
they had
can already
dominant
handle
impulse.
everything. And you can't have deeper complex challenges in a game where at any moment, one tiny mistake can set you back to square one. And drop inventory really is the linchpin holding everything back. Without it, it would allow for more complex and interesting challenges to be added to the endgame, which would hopefully allow for the RPG mechanics to breathe a little bit. It could also help flesh out Minecraft's progression, which is god-awful, but that's a schizo rant for another day. In the end, it would just be nice if Microsoft and Mojang cared enough to add good content themselves, instead of leeching off the community through soulless cash grabs. Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go watch a soulless cash grab.
I am gonna blow up.
Lel. Aw, man. Fuck it. Is this an absolute timer alongside our personal timer? It's actually pretty crazy. Wait, no, I feel like an idiot. I mean, I think this'll still work. Who am I kidding? It's fucking Jover. Why did it take you so long to think on fucking putting dimensional barrier back?
Way to the Grass here, part 7.
What the f- All they had to do was go to battle. Well, I'm out of time. Fuck it, I'll play against myself. I guess just good old pure variant is a really powerful way to go. Here comes the bias again. Never mind, this is an almost unplayable hand. Dust and rot and tumbleweeds and the road silence. Even it is real in my bones. Take down Satan. I'll be back on the show, pumping rhythm, getting out of control. Weapon, what I've been seeking. 6 shots, you're faster than lightning. Shocking, pimple head banging, bang bang. The ground would be shaking. Voice crack. Gotta give it a rock. I wanna kill this boredom with my bullets. Rock, I'm gonna hit and run, cause I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna shoot on everybody. Dang it. I'm sure they can wait a little. This is such a risky move, isn't it? The correct choice is technically to just go for her. Why can I not summon Lady? Seriously, why isn't Lady... Oh, now I can summon Lady. Huh? I fucking... I thought the black goat left. Except from the graveyard, that's hilarious.